WWB is a global network of microfinance institutions who come together around a shared purpose of providing access to financial services to low-income women on a sustainable basis.
Wall Street was nothing more to me than a place to make money. Ultimately, I left for a number of reasons and went to work for a foundation, the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, and they sent me to Mexico City to the first Women's UN conference that began the UN Decade for Women. And suddenly, women from around the world had found each other. There was excitement and energy that I don't think I've ever experienced to the same degree as I did then. I met some women who wanted to start some kind of an international bank for women or a loan program for women. And so that was where the idea for Women's World Banking was conceived. So that Women's World Banking, first and foremost, was not a bank. It was a belief and the hope for some kind of a movement that would empower women and give women a sense of ownership over their own production.
What Women's World Banking stood for was a belief that low-income women entrepreneurs are the base and backbone of economies, that women leaders have the capacity to innovate and to create new models to provide financial access, that women are not victims, but in fact are entrepreneurs and change agents.
Truth be told, I was most attracted to the job at WWB initially because of my belief in the power of microfinance. But once I joined WWB, the overwhelming strength of the mission around women became very, very apparent, and I had not really appreciated until I began to travel around the network and talk to not only our leaders in the network, but their clients.
We were able to build something that I think has lasted and is very different from the typical approach to microfinance today, whereas Women's World Banking then, during my tenure and today, has been in the middle. It's got to work for poor women and it's got to be financially sustainable. We've got to continue innovating in providing the products and services that poor women need to succeed.
The biggest story of the microfinance sector in the period of time that I've been with Women's World Banking has been the impact of commercialization on the sector. So we have to make strategic choices so that our work with the institutions really proves a business case for why serving women clients really makes sense as a business, and that serving women is not only a good thing because the vast majority of the poor in the world are women and they are disproportionately represented in the low-income population, but they are good clients and they are good business for these institutions as they become more commercial.
You have to be your own leader. You have to be a leader of yourself first.
Honesty, integrity, generosity of spirit. And I think a principled leader also needs to walk the talk in terms of the principle of the organization that she leads. So in the case of Women's World Banking, core principles include poor women as entrepreneurs, not victims. It includes belief in local control by local institutions. It includes believing in lateral learning among practitioners. It includes being a change agent in your local economy.
Those leaders from our network who've been very dedicated to training, but training on all fronts, financial, skills-based, and on the mission. That's really where I'm excited about those leaders who've recognized that when they're leaving something behind, it's really leaving that full understanding of the institution.
It was wonderful to see the transference of leadership when I stepped down from Women's World Banking and Nancy Berry took over, and to realize that we had created something that required new leadership, and that it was moving on. People used to say, why would you ever give up something that you created? And I said, I wasn't the one who created it, and I just want to make sure it survives. It needed new, younger ideas and capacities, and she carried it to another whole level. And now Mary Ellen's carrying it to another level.
I have had many mentors, and I would say I would single out Michaela and Women's World Banking as a whole.
As I've come into this role at WWB and have become so engaged in fostering leadership, and particularly women's leadership, I've really tried to place a strong emphasis on mentorship, on peer mentorship, because very often we can gain the deepest support from our peers.
I think that there is an important role for women right now, and particularly those who have charisma and strength to be leaders at a time when the world is changing radically, to create their own definition about how you place responsibility back on the individual.
WWB is uniquely placed as a change agent that can talk about the elephants in the middle of the room, because our network is not top-down, it's bottom-up.
I'm very excited to actually be in a leadership position in microfinance at this juncture, because I think you can see very clearly the role of a leader who believes in mission as well as good business.